Welcome to Updating Your Resume with AI, the three-prompt framework. Let's be honest, your professional experience is timeless, but if your resume looks like it was formatted in the era of dial-up internet, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. You've spent years building a career. Don't let a dusty Word document kill your momentum. In the next 15 minutes, you are mastering a framework designed to translate your history into a results-driven powerhouse. But before we start clicking copy-paste, we need to understand exactly why your current resume might be failing you in today's digital landscape. Module 2, Why Great Experience Gets Overlooked. You're facing two gates. Gate 1 is the Applicant Tracking System. This is a bot that doesn't care about your passion. It scans for keywords. If your formatting is too fancy or your language too vague, the bot rejects you. Gate 2 is the 6-second recruiter scan. If you pass the bot, you meet a caffeinated human. If your resume reads like a 2010 job description filled with passive duties, they'll scroll right past you. Now that we know the obstacles, let's introduce the high-tech solution that's going to help you clear those gates with ease. Module 3, the solution, the AI Executive Assistant. We're going to stop treating AI like a toy and start using it as a high-level executive assistant. We aren't asking AI to write your resume from scratch. AI has a tendency to sound like a robot trying to win a poetry slam if left unsupervised. Instead, we use the three-prompt framework: analyze and target, quantify and reframe, and summarize and hook. The first stage is all about intelligence gathering, finding out exactly what the enemy is looking for. Module 4, Step 1, pinpoint what they're looking for. Step 1 is the gap analysis. Being a good communicator isn't a skill, it's a baseline requirement for being a functioning adult. You need to find the bridge between what you've done and what they need. We move from broad terms like leadership to specific terms like SaaS pipeline optimization. If they ask for a scalpel, don't show up with a Swiss Army knife. To bridge that gap without spending hours highlighting text, let's put our AI assistant to work with our first official prompt. Module 5, the Keyword Matchmaker. Prompt 1, the Keyword Matchmaker, identifies the top 8 high-priority keywords, gives you a match rate, and, most importantly, a translation. This rephrases your existing experience to include missing keywords without ever changing the truth of your history. We're not lying, we're just speaking the language the recruiter is listening for. Once we have our target keywords, it's time to stop talking about what you are responsible for and start talking about what you actually achieved. Step 2, convert your duties into wins. Most people write their experience as a list of chores, managed a team, attended meetings. We want to transform those into a narrative of wins using the action plus context plus result framework. Instead of saying you were responsible for a sales team, you spearheaded a 12-person team to exceed revenue targets by 22%. Since writing those high-impact bullet points can be tedious, we're going to let our next prompt handle the heavy lifting. Module 7, the Resume Architect and the Metric Mindset. Prompt 2, the Resume Architect, kills the passive filler. It will include bracketed placeholders like X% or dollar amount. This is your homework. I know what you're thinking. I don't know my exact percentage. Don't panic. Use estimated or approximate figures based on quarterly reports. If you managed a budget of $1 million, that is a metric. If you save the team 5 hours a week, that is a metric. A resume without numbers is just a grocery list, and nobody hires based on a grocery list. With your experience now looking like a highlight reel, we need to ensure the very first thing the recruiter sees is just as impressive. Step 3, craft a powerful executive opening. The executive summary is your elevator pitch. Forget the objective statement. We know your objective is to get the job. Instead, offer a 3 to 4 sentence summary, results-oriented, leadership-focused, or industry-specific. Instead of staring at a blinking cursor trying to describe yourself, let's see how our third prompt handles the introductions. Module 9, the Hummin' Audit. Now we're going to use Prompt 3, the professional summary, to generate your options. This prompt is designed with some very specific guardrails. When you use it, you'll input your industry and your years of experience, and the AI is commanded to follow 3 strict rules. First, no I or me statements. Using the first person can actually sound a bit junior in a high-level summary. We want an objective, executive tone. Second, it must be a 4-sentence maximum. We're not writing a memoir, we're writing a teaser. Third, it must naturally weave in at least 2 or 3 of the high-priority keywords we identified back in Step 1. It's all about being confidently concise. But here is where we perform the human audit. This is the most important part of the entire framework. AI is a world-class architect, but it is a terrible final inspector. Once the AI spits out those summary options, you cannot just blindly copy and paste them. You need to read them out loud, literally use your voice. If a sentence sounds like a robot would say while passing for a human, or if it uses corporate speak that you would never actually utter in a boardroom, you must tweak the tone. Change a word, adjust the rhythm, or add a specific detail that only you know. Think of it this way: AI gets you 90% of the way there. It handles the structure, the keywords, and the heavy lifting, but your personality, your voice, in your specific flavor of leadership provide that final 10%. That 10% is what actually gets you hired. Don't let the bot have the final word on your career. Now that we have all our high-performance parts ready, the summary, the targeted keywords, and the results-oriented experience, it's time to put the machine together and build the final document. Module 10, Assembly and the Formatting Kill Switch. Now that you have your high-performance parts, the summary, the keywords, and the results-oriented experience, it's time to build the engine. For maximum impact, you must assemble these components in a specific order. At the very top, you place the hook. That's your professional summary. This is the sleek exterior of the car that stops people in their tracks. Directly below that, you insert the evidence, your rewritten professional experience. This is the V8 engine under the hood. It provides the raw power and proof that you can do the job. Next, you list the keywords, a clean, scannable core competency section. This is for the bots to feast on. Finally, you finish with the basics, your contact header at the top and your education footer at the bottom. But before you start dragging these blocks of text into a document, we have to talk about the formatting kill switch. Listen closely. Do not use tables, columns, sidebars, or fancy graphics to make your resume look pretty. I know you want to stand out, you want it to look like a modern infographic. But here is the reality. The ATS is a text-based reader from the 1990s. When a bot hits a 2-column layout or a table, it often gets confused. It might read the left column and the right column is the same line of text, turning your professional history into a word salad nightmare. If the bot can't parse your data, it defaults to a reject. You could be the most qualified candidate in the world, but if your skills are hidden in a fancy sidebar, the bot sees a blank page. Keep the layout linear, clean, and frankly, boringly standard. No photos, no progress bars for your skill levels, and no complex headers. Let your words be the interesting part. A plain, well-structured document that the bot can read is infinitely more powerful than a designer resume that ends up in the digital trash can. When you follow this assembly guide and avoid the formatting traps, the transformation is more than just cosmetic. It's a complete upgrade in how the market perceives you. Module 11, The Result, a resume built for today. When you compare your before and after, the difference is undeniable. On one side is a duty-focused, passive document that looks cluttered and dated. On the other is your new results-driven and optimized resume. It is clean, it highlights your key skills immediately, and it is built to pass the ATS and the human recruiter scan with ease. You've gone from being a name in a database to being the obvious choice for the role. You're almost ready to hit send, but I want to leave you with one final tip to ensure you never have to struggle with this process again. Module 12, Pro Tip. Don't start from scratch every time you apply for a job. You now have the components needed to succeed. Simply paste your AI-generated text into the designated spots of the provided template to create a polished, modern document in minutes. Take this framework and give your career the edge it deserves. Use the prompts, fill in the metrics, and go get the role you were born to lead. I'm Jay, and I'll see you in the next course at jknowsai.com.